Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Apple iPhone SE 2020 edition. And what if I told you that this device was released back in mid-April of 2020? And as of the time of filming this video, which is 29th of April 2023, so I thought for its third birthday, why not give an update of what it's like to use this device in 2023. Now, in terms of the format of this video, I'm just going to go through the pros and cons, and probably just maybe sum up at the end. Okay, so let's get on to the pros. Obviously, first thing to note is that this device is very compact, it's light, very easy to handle, it is portable, and the other way I like to describe this device is that it is pocket friendly. The other thing I like as well is that obviously it's made of glass on the front and back, and I like these little neat touches, just this slider here, so that's really good. I like that, so you can just cut out the volume like that. Wish more phones had that, but hey, it is what it is. Also, this device has an IP67 dust and water resistant rating. In terms of price, you can pick this up for about what, $220 for the 64GB unlocked version from Amazon. You can also try Swapper, eBay, and so forth. Moving on to the chipset, it does have an A13 Bionic chipset, which shouldn't be frowned upon because, like I said, everything here works. Typical Apple, everything works as it should do. No issues at all. And the other good thing I like with the A13 Bionic chipset is that it's also the same chipset that's in the iPhone 11, 11 Pro and 11 Pro Max. So again, said it's not a slouch. Then moving on, the other thing I like about this device as well is that it has wireless charging. That is correct, you heard that correctly. It has wireless charging, and which is most unusual for a device of at this price range. So again, I was pleasantly surprised. Yeah, and it does work. Obviously, the downside is that it is slow, because I believe it's what is it 7.5 watt wired charging, and then obviously the wireless charging is going to be around about the same mark, so it is slow. So obviously the ideal thing is don't let it get too low before recharging, because if you leave it till it goes down to say what 2%, it could probably take you 2 hours, whether it's to charge up fully, whether you're using wireless or wired charging. Okay, in terms of software, obviously it's typically Apple, which as we all know is clean, so you don't get lots of duplicate apps and so forth. So in a nutshell, very little bloatware. So as an example, this model that I have here on show here is the 256GB model of internal storage. And if my memory serves me correctly, in terms of the storage on the system storage on the device, I think it's only about 11GB. So you can see very little bloatware, which is really good. And the other thing I like about this device is that, mainly Apple devices, is that it's just so easy to use. You know, unlike Android, where you have to do a lot of tweaking and customization if that's your thing. Whereas Apple phones, they're just so easy to use. You don't really have to think about it. And also you get the in terms of the software updates, they usually about, sometimes they go on for about maybe 5-6 years, which is fantastic, because you get flagship phones that only, you know, you pay over $1,000 and they'll only give you 3 years or 4 years, which I think is a bit stingy, you know, mean-spirited. So whereas something like this, I like Apple for that. They always give you good, you know, at least about 5 or 6 years. And look, and this is the mid-range. So that's the beauty with that. Okay, so let's move on to the cameras. Obviously, I think you've got 7 megapixel front-facing camera. Then you have the 12 megapixel on the rear facing camera. So obviously it is a single camera, and with the rear facing camera you can shoot video up to a maximum of 4K at 60 frames per second. Yeah, that is correct. Yeah, for this device, that's quite impressive. And obviously on the front facing camera you can shoot video up to a maximum of obviously 1080p. I think it's at 30 frames per second. One of the other things with I consider a pro with having this device or any other iPhone is that Apple iPhone is that it is a status symbol. There's just something that's nice. You just say, oh, I've got an iPhone. So no one really quite, when you say that, it's like, oh wow, fantastic. It's only if somebody delves further, they're like, oh right, okay, you've got this model. But there's just something nice when you say, I've got an iPhone. There are a few cons of using this device in 2023. Naturally, it will be subjective from person to person. So what I tried to do was come up with a list, and on that list of cons, there were just 4. And those 4 I think are glaringly obvious, and it will affect everyone. So starting with the design and build quality. Now, there's no mistaken, Apple do make great products. This is no different. Great hardware. The issue I have is with the top and bottom bezels, because they're so thick, because this is a 4.7-inch screen, and I just think there's a lot of wasted space with those bezels at the top and at the bottom here. That's a real shame. It really is. And just to confirm what I'm saying, if we bring over the Google Pixel 6a, so they're both medium range phones, you can see that the Google Pixel 6a much taller, so you get more of a screen to body ratio, and you don't have those thick bars like you do on the iPhone SE. And what was more disappointing was that Apple did not update their iPhone SE 2022 edition. So let's see what happened, what they do with the, I'm assuming it's going to be the 2024 edition of this device. Okay, the other issue I have with this device is the battery consumption. It's not good. It really is not good at all. This is not an all-day phone, so you will definitely need to take your charger with you at all times. So just very quickly, there were times from my own experience, again this is all recent, not 2 years ago, whatever, all very recent. I take this phone out. On one occasion, started with 100%, and I believe by lunchtime, I could not believe my eyes. I think it was down to about 60%, which is ridiculous, because as I said, I didn't do anything, just listen to music that I have here on my iTunes account. That's all that I did. And then I conducted another test where started off, I compared it with the Google Pixel 6a, the 2 batteries, I compared them. I ran YouTube on both devices for 2 hours, and the results were not good for the iPhone SE 2020 edition. Next, charging. This device, obviously, it has 18-watt wire charging. It is very slow. It is really slow. There's no other way to put it. So you will need to take your charger with you. Yes, you do have wireless charging, as I mentioned earlier, but it is still slow. So that's, yeah, again, something to definitely keep in mind. And then lastly, on the back here, you've got just the single camera, which definitely can be improved. If you look at the Google Pixel 6a, You know, they have, if I'm not mistaken, they have, yeah, so you've got two cameras there. And as we all know, this takes fantastic videos and photos. So just to wrap this up very quickly, overall, this is a really nice device, especially if you're someone who always used an Android phone and you want to try the Apple iPhone for the very first time. So rather than spending over $1,000 on a flagship iPhone, you can try something like this at the prices quoted. That is about $200 odd. And if you're happy, then you can definitely upgrade to something much more expensive. And again, like myself, I use this as a secondary device. Now, as we all know, with Apple products, they're very good, very reliable. You will get good software updates regularly, and you get them in terms of longevity, at least maybe like 5-6 years, which I think represents really good value for money. Naturally, there are some caveats to using this device. I picked out 4 main ones that anybody who using it will definitely come across. And obviously, key one for me is definitely the battery consumption. It's not very good. And then to make matters worse, you want to charge the device, it's very slow, especially at 18 watts. And so regardless whether it's wireless or wired, it is way too slow. So apart from that, that's pretty much it. Well, that pretty much wraps it up for this episode. My name is Sholo. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another episode. Ciao.